Okay, everybody, what is going on? Darkside Phil here. Today is Friday, June 28th, 2013, and a little piece of console called the OUYA was released earlier this week, and we are about to embark on a journey where for the next several hours we are going to be checking out the OUYA, seeing exactly what it is, what its capabilities are, and basically exploring this new console. Now, you may not be familiar with the OUYA. The OUYA was announced a couple years ago. Of all things, it was a Kickstarter project. And this developer basically said, listen, we want to make a console that's completely independent from Microsoft and Sony. We want to make a console where the premise is that you can actually play any game on the console completely for free. Basically test it out, obviously for a limited period of time, before you actually buy it. You get to play before you buy. That's the premise of the console. And we also want it to be that all the games can be downloaded over the internet. You don't have to go to the store to buy a disc. And we want it to be cheap. We want our console to be cheap. We don't want you dropping $500 for a video game console, something that everyone can afford and can play. Okay? So they had this idea. They threw it up on Kickstarter. Lots of people backed it. They all liked this idea of an independent gaming console. Well, over the course of its development, basically the OUYA became a console that is an Android console. So if you don't know what that means, Android is an operating system separate from, say, you know, iOS from Apple's model, or Windows, which is Microsoft's model. It's its own kind of a deal. It currently runs on a lot of smartphones. And they decided they were going to run their console on an Android operating system to save money. So what you see in front of you is the OUYA console, extremely compact as you can see, and it was only $100 at retail. So a gaming console that only costs $100. Right off the bat, you're like, holy shit, that's a huge difference from modern gaming consoles, okay? So the premise of the OUYA is a console everyone can afford. You can easily hook it up. No complications. It goes online, you download your games, you play them for a little bit. If you like it, then you buy the game. If not, you move on and you play something else. Okay? However, the OUYA at first had massive hype behind it, and it has lost some of that hype recently. And I think the real reason is because a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute, I already have a smartphone. I have, you know, a Samsung Galaxy S, or I've got an HTC One, or I've got an Android smartphone that's really good, and I could play Android games on my smartphone. Why the hell would I spend $100 to buy a console to play the same exact games that I'm playing on my phone already? So I really think that the console lost a lot of steam when it was revealed that it was not going to have, for example, full retail-style games. It was going to have these mobile versions of a lot of games. Now, not to say that the console will not have full games. Coming up very shortly, supposedly, there are some full games from major publishers that are coming out for it. So the OUYA is an interesting experiment. It's kind of an anomaly. It's different from everything else out there, okay? So what we're going to do today, right now I'm going to unbox it. That's the purpose of this video. Then I'm going to hook it up to my setup. We're going to do a live stream and direct capture footage of me booting it up for the first time, getting through all the registration nonsense, going into the menus, exploring the menus, seeing what games are available on launch, because this is launch week. This came out on Tuesday. It is Friday, so a few days out, but still it's going to be interesting to check it out. And we're going to download a couple of the demo games, play some of the games. We're going to mess around with it pretty much. And see all about the OUYA. What is it about? What is it like? I think a lot of people will like this because, number one, I think a lot of people are skeptical to get it because they're thinking, oh, all Android games? Well, I'm not going to get it then because I don't want to play Android games. And they don't know what games are actually available for it. And number two, again, $100 console, especially when a few months, I think it's November, and then holiday this year, so we're talking 5 to 6 months, the new wave of consoles. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are going to be released, and people are like, why would I spend $100 now to play a console that can only play mobile games when I can get a full version of a console playing next generation games in a few months? So it's an interesting mentality. It's an interesting situation here. The OUYA kind of is stuck in the middle. I really feel that if the new consoles had not been released yet, the OUYA might have more momentum, but it lost a lot of momentum when the next-gen consoles were announced. So I digress. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at it and we're going to unbox it. Okay? Physically unbox the thing. So first of all, the box is very small, as you can see. There it is, the picture of the console itself is like a cube, and then the controller. On the back, it lists Final Fantasy III as a game, even though that game's not out yet, although I'm not surprised because many consoles, upon launch, actually list games on their boxes, and then the games never come out. I forget if it was the Nintendo 64, but there was a console that had like a game listed on the box that never even came out for the console, and they were like, oh, it's coming soon, so it was pretty funny. So what does the OUYA come with? We're about to find out. It lists it right there, but why read that? Let's just open it and check it out and see what it comes with. So it's got two seals, which we're going to cut right here on the top. Okay. So we can simply push it out. And so begins the revolution. That's quite a haughty piece of HR or PR or whatever you want to... HR. That's a good marketing thing right there. Alright. So we open it up. Wow, here we go. So here's your console. The console is literally a tiny cube. Okay? Holy crap. Power adapter, a micro USB, your Ethernet, a standard USB, and an HDMI. So what this means, it has no audio out besides HDMI. So for people who are live streaming like I do, you're either going to have to use an HDMI splitter, or with my setup, I actually have a box that separates the audio from the HDMI, and then it kind of reforms it back into to bypass the HDCP copy protection. Okay? And it actually has an audio out. So I'm going to attempt to use that audio out with my headphones to get audio. If that doesn't work, I may have to use an HDMI splitter, which I do have. I have an HDMI splitter, but that would be a pain in the ass to get set up. So I'm hoping that the audio out on my setup will work, okay? So very limited connectivity, but again, they're keeping the price down. The thing's only $100. It's actually completely covered in plastic, so let's take some of this off. I'm assuming that right there is the power button on the top of it, okay? Let's get this plastic off the bottom. Wow, look at that. Tiny. Okay. Here's your controller. Now, the thumbstick layout, as you can see, is extremely similar to the Xbox 360. Okay? There you go. In fact, even the color of the buttons, green, green, blue, blue, red, red, yellow, yellow, it's the same as the Xbox 360. So it's pretty obvious what they're trying to emulate here. It actually has a standard D-pad, not this stupid circular D-pad, so that might actually be better for certain games, okay? It's got standard triggers, again, very similar to the Xbox 360 from the design. Very different from the PlayStation 3 controller, where your buttons are more spaced out and the thumbsticks are in a different positioning, okay? It's got a lot of plastic on it. Let's take some of that off here. I don't know what the purpose of all this plastic is. What are you protecting this from? Seriously, what do you need plastic on that for? Very odd. I'm assuming this is the wireless receiver. Getting the plastic off the buttons right now. Unfortunately, some of the plastic is stuck on there. It kind of separated when I was taking it off. Oh my god, what a pain in the ass. Seriously. There's no reason for there to be plastic on the buttons. Why'd they do this? This is weird. Alright, plastic off that button. Plastic is ripping again. It's not good. Ugh. Okay, plastic off that button. And then the final button here. Okay. So there's your OUYA controller. I'm not sure how it opens because it runs on AA. Oh, there's even plastic on the D-pad. What on earth? I know it runs on AA batteries. I just don't know where to put them because I don't see a port anywhere. See what I mean? There's no door. How do you open this thing to put the batteries in it? I don't know. Huh. We're going to have to look up the instructions. Okay? So, that's the console and the controller. What's behind this? We've got the power adapter. Batteries. So there's your batteries for the controller. It actually comes with them. Here's your power adapter. Standard giant fucking block power adapter. Great. I hate those things. And it actually comes with an HDMI cable, which a lot of consoles do not do these days. You don't get the stuff you need to hook it up. So that's what it comes with. Now, is there any instructions? Here you go. Like I said, I need to figure out how to open up this controller and put the batteries in it. So here's the instruction book. I'm going to take a look at it. Okay. Oh, great. Guess what? It doesn't even fucking say. Are you kidding me? The instructions are literally one page. And what they say, connect your OUYA to your TV via HDMI, hook up your OUYA with the power adapter, pair your controller by holding down the OUYA button and having it linked to your console, and then configure your network. The OUYA will automatically detect wireless networks. And this is, that's it. Well, guess what? How the fuck do I put the batteries in my fucking controller, you idiot? Right off the bat, amateur design. How the fuck do you make a worthless instruction book that doesn't tell you how to put the batteries in your fucking controller? What a bunch of idiots. So now I gotta try to figure this shit out for myself. Unless I go online. I mean, this is crazy because there's no fucking screws in this controller. How do you get this thing open? There's no screw. I've never seen a controller with no screws in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's Xbox 360 controller, you can easily find where you're supposed to put the batteries. Alright, so here we go. I'm actually doing... Aha! The front, are you kidding me? The front of the controller comes off and you put a battery in each side, apparently. Look at this thing. Who the fuck would have known that? So it says face up. Alright, one battery there, in place. Whew. Now to get the other one open. This is certainly something else. I've never seen a controller like this in my life, where it opens up on the sides and you put the batteries in like that. So it's weird. It's a weird way to put the batteries in, yet they don't list it in the instructions. Genius! Idiots. Complete idiocy is what it is. Alright, so this goes in like this. Alright, so supposedly the batteries are in. Okay. Okay. So, now what I'm going to do is end this video, upload it to YouTube, and then I'm going to hook the OUYA up to my streaming setup. Hopefully it works without any issues, and then we're going to get started. We're going to boot the sucker up. We're going to see exactly what happens. So, the OUYA experience has begun. Thank you for joining me. Definitely head over to Twitch TV/DarksidePhil for the live stream if you're watching this relatively live. I'm going to be doing it early afternoon today. If not, definitely stick around here on DSPGaming on YouTube to watch the videos that are coming. Okay? It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Even if it's an epic fail, it's still going to be interesting and entertaining and educational. So definitely check it out. Alright, everyone. See ya for the OUYA booting.